an overall look based on how the signs are spread out throughout the entire property. And then this is a look at the neighborhood. This is sort of for context. There's no residential around here, and there's no residential around here or anyone that would really have anything much different, and there haven't been any comments around, submitted by the public for this either. So this is the before for the food mart. This is what it currently looks like. And then this is the after with the new design, the R Mart's branding. This is the one of the exteriors, so you can kind of just get a good look at the before and after, and just see how their signage is laid out there. It is worth noting that the sign you see on the right where the truck is parked, that is one of the new signs that's being added. It's sort of a, the applicant will not be installing this sign right away. This is something that they want to have further down the line, but they wanted to include it in the sign package so that when they are ready to install it, they don't have to go back and make an amendment. I just want to make that note out there. And then this is the existing back. As you can see, there is no food mart sign there currently. This is another sign that's being added there with the R Mart's signage. So this is on the back side. I do want to make a note about the red accent lighting you are seeing in the picture. The applicant has confirmed that the red lighting will not be installed. There is existing accent lighting there that is white, and it is the same that has been there. They will not be changing it. This was just part of the design, that the renderings that they submitted to us. So I just wanted to point that out as well, that it will not be included as part of this review or approval. This is one of the pole mounts that they have, and then just got the clearance sign on there. This is what they're going to be adding to it. It's going to be painted red to match the R Mart's branding, and then they'll have that sign on there. And then this is the current car wash. This is the layout, and this is the new signage that will go there, as well as that signage as well. Now, it's worth noting, the sign you see at the top of the screen, it was hard to get a good picture of it, but what you see on the left side is a mirror that's existing. That's for vehicles to see what's behind them and to also make sure that they can get on the track. So the car wash is automatic, so it pulls you through there. You want to be able to see where the wheels are and also see what's behind you as well. So, and then the applicant plans to repurpose that panels in the middle and to the right side, just as local advertising for the gas station. There's not going to be anything else other than car wash related materials on there. So to break it down for the sign package, the wall signage will be increasing by 7.9, just under 8 square foot. As a note, and as a point of reference, code would allow a maximum of 125 square foot, and that would be the number over the 15% of the total facade area. Again, there are 2 facades incorporated here. There's the car wash facade as well as the convenience store facade. Regardless, the maximum amount that would be allowed for this property is 125 square feet if we were going by code. So you can see the difference, about a 30 square foot difference in total for wall signs. The ground sign area is a total of 192 square foot. It's just worth noting the majority of that is covered by that fuel sign, the pole sign with the digital signage and the pricing on it. The remaining is the 2 pole mounted signs. So that is where the breakdown for that is. And that is an increase of 58.7 square feet. The ground sign maximum is 75 square feet for the B3 district. That's per sign face, per frontage. Now, they do have 2 frontages, but the majority of the signage for the ground sign that's being added is by the car wash, so it's sort of away from that. But just as a frame of reference for how much square footage for ground signs is usually allowed. And just where the 58's coming from is we consider the pole mounted signs with the car wash ground signs. Staff considered that, so. Standards for sign packages. Usually, as usual, I don't usually go too into depth about these, but they're here for reference if you need them. And the approval process, obviously the PDC has authority over the design review and sign package. The PDC can discuss the proposal, and the sign package standards, and they could direct approval or recommend changes of the draft certificate of approval that has been provided. Are there any questions for staff?
No, but if you could go back to, one more. No, one more. Okay, so I did do the math on this, and for the total wall sign area, that's really just an increase of 5% from what it was at 146.4. I did not calculate the percentage over 125 square feet that it was. And then for the one that struck me was for the total ground sign area, that 58.7 square feet is like a 44% increase in what there was to what there is now. So, do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions for staff? Commissioner Mantis.
So where there's an existing mirror going into the car wash, that's being proposed to have signage on it,
Yes.
but the size of that mirror is not changing, correct?
That's right.
That is right.
So in effect, they're just leaving that
Yes.
there, but now.
So as a matter of fact, as it is, I don't have a good existing picture of it. Maybe the applicant could probably speak to that, but they actually do have panels there right now with just close your windows or sort of signs. I would assume that it would be the similar type of signage with the same sign panels. The applicant can, of course, speak more to that if they wish to, so.
Thank you.
Any more commission questions or comments? Did you have one?
No.
Okay. Okay, I don't think we have any more. Does any, okay, so I think we're done with the staff presentation. Does the applicant wish to come up and speak to their project?
Yeah, and I can also pull up anything in the packet as well if you need, okay?
Okay, great. Good evening. My name is Ryan Rosowski, and I am the president of Armarts LLC and Lake Cook and Skokie LLC, the company that operates the gas station, convenience store, and car wash at 10 Skokie Valley Road. My family and I live here in Highland Park, just around the corner on Linden Avenue, and I grew up in the Ravinia neighborhood. Our family business has proudly operated Shell stations throughout the Chicagoland area continuously since 1951. The proposed redesign represents the first major investment in this property since it was redeveloped in 1996. Our goal with this exterior redesign is to stay competitive with large corporate-run operators such as the BP-owned Thorntons across the street and the Casey's on 41, which is a publicly traded company with over 1,000 locations nationwide. Beyond competition, we hope that by refreshing and modernizing the site, that we can better serve our community, offering fresh food, bagels made daily, great coffee, and most importantly, an improved car wash experience. We believe these enhancements will encourage residents to shop locally and help keep business and sales tax dollars here in Highland Park. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm very happy to answer any questions that you have, and we're really looking forward to continuing to do great business here in Highland Park.
All right, does anyone from the commission have a question for the applicant? Commissioner Kirch.
It's apropos of nothing, but it's been bugging me. Our mart, is it roadside mart,
Yeah.
Royal Dutch Shell mart?
No, that's a great question. So the name Armarts was actually created as an operating entity about 25 years ago when we started operating a package of stores for Shell. It was never a public-facing company until about 5 years ago when we were finally starting to launch our own brand. And because we had been called Armarts for so long and many of our vendors knew us by that, we ran with it. And so now we currently have 5 locations branded Armarts and are just slowly branding our other locations Armarts just to create a more unified experience across the Chicagoland area.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Questions down here? Comments? Commissioner Mantos.
So just to confirm what staff had mentioned about the red light under the so that is in this picture depicted as being red, but that is going to stay a white light?
That's correct, yeah. It's currently white light. white Eve light. We considered putting in programmable lighting, which is what you see here, where you could change it for whatever the holiday was or something like that. We ultimately decided not to do it just based on cost and having done something like it in a different municipality and just having mixed feelings about it. So it was part of the original design and we just didn't take it out of this graphic.
Can I make a comment on that, please? And to be very clear on that, because, if the commission approved this, they're adopting the renderings and exhibits. In the draft certificate of approval, in the fourth bullet point, there's a comment that specifically addresses that they can keep the lighting that's there and that they're not proposing any new lighting by this proposal. That's in the fourth bullet point on the certificate of design review approval, because we didn't want anybody to be confused months from now when permits come in, if this was approved. We don't want there to be any confusion. It's expected that lighting will stay the same as there now.
And so I guess as a follow-up to that, then, if we vote to approve this, is there anything that would prohibit or allow them to swap out the lighting to a red light if they so chose?
Well, my understanding, it's not proposed and therefore not approved, and that's what's in the certificate of approval.
Thank you.
Yeah, it says here, there is, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Is that okay if I finish what I was saying?
Oh, yeah, go
Sorry,
ahead.
apologies. I just want to be clear what's in the certificate of approval. It's the fourth bullet point, but it also says there's at this location existing white accent lighting that will remain. So the way this is written, if they wanted to change that, they'd have to come back for design review.
Understood. Thanks.
Yeah, fair question.
Okay. Commissioner Imchuk.
I have a question about the site plan and the visibility of the signage, especially around the car wash area. I'm wondering how much of the signage, it sounds like a lot of the additional signage will be related to the car wash, and I'm just curious how much of that would actually be visible from the street, or if it's more directional and informational signage for the car wash, if it's like around the car wash.
Yeah, so that's a really great question. The way the car wash sits on the property, you can see, just above the cursor is where cars enter and they have to go around this big turn and then they get on the track right above the cursor. If you'd like to go to, go ahead. Sure.
Is there something you want me to open from your packet, sir? Oh, go ahead, please.
So here you can see the entrance. Back here is really difficult to see from the street. In fact, part of what we're trying to do is make sure that the car wash is more visible to customers who can't see it from even the pumps, really. The way it's designed, the convenience store kind of hides the car wash. And so that was part of our intention, was to bring more attention to the car wash. Obviously, people who live in the community know it's there, but for people who are just stopping through and buying gas and aren't familiar with the site, it's very hard to see. So that was a big piece of our intention, was to make the car wash a little bit easier to see and stand out. That said, like this corner back here where you see the entrance to the car wash and the entrance to the conveyor, it's not visible from the street at all.
Okay, thank you.
Right, and can I also respond to that,
Sure.
Chair? And again, to get to that question, I just want to be clear. So most of the signage that's being added in terms of like new square footage, not all of it, but most of it, again, it's on the west part of the property, on those existing pole signs that lead into the car wash. And again, to give an idea, that's in the back here, behind the convenience station building and behind the gas canopy. And then, along the south here, this is the municipal property line, and you have Lake Cook Road. So, yeah, thanks.
Councilmember Ross has a question or a comment.
I had the same question as you did. How visible are, particularly the save and dollar sign, and just those two signs, but it seems like it's pretty well hidden and just directional on the site.
Yeah, very much so, yep.
All right, does the commission have any more questions or comments? Do we have anybody from the public who wishes to speak on this matter? All right, we have public, but nobody wishing to speak. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
If I may, Madam
Yes.
Chair, if I might move that we approve the design review and sign package amendment with variations from the city code for 10 Skokie Valley Road.
Do you have a second? And we have a second over here, by Commissioner Nanis, correct? Okay, any more discussion on that? Okay, please call the vote.
Commissioner Inchek.
Aye.
Commissioner Petner.
Aye.
Commissioner Nanis.
Aye.
Commissioner Henry.
Aye.
Commissioner Mantis.
Aye.
Vice Chair Kirsch.
Aye.
Chair Moore.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Motion carries. This item is approved as motioned. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. All right, our next item of business is public hearing PUD 2025-00067 for an amendment to a special use permit in the nature of a plan development, design review, and modifications from city code at 763 Dean Avenue, known as Ravinia School. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you, sorry.
It's a new public hearing.
It's not a new public hearing.
This is a new public hearing.
Oh, it is?
Yes, do you have the sheet or do you
I
need me to
have
give
the
you a
sheet.
copy?
I'm sorry, I thought this was an old one based on their the currentness of their project. Okay. All right, welcome to the regular meeting of the Highland Park Plan and Design Commission. My name is Karen Moore. A quorum of the Plan and Design Commission being present, the members of the Plan and Design Commission will now introduce themselves for the record from my right.
Kristen Inchek.
Josh Nanis.
Danny Mantis.
Steve Kirch.
Ken Henry.
David Fatner.
The Plan and Design Commission is charged with hearing applications for rezonings, plan developments, and subdivisions under the zoning ordinance and subdivision regulations of the city of Highland Park. In all matters, we recommend to the city council based upon the testimony presented to us in the hearing. We are required to decide cases within 45 days after receipt of the transcript. All testimony is under oath. Both applicants and others who wish to speak on the particular case should present specific evidence as to why a proposal meets or fails to meet the standards for the relief requested. For clarity of our record, only one person at a time will speak, and all questions will be directed through the chair. We ask that you make every effort to not be repetitive in your testimony. Finally, we will make every effort to adhere to the schedule prepared. For tonight's hearing, if additional time is needed on a matter, it will be continued until the next available agenda. With that, I open the floor for the staff to the Plan and Design Commission to read into the record proof of publication and ownership.
Proof of publication and ownership are available for viewing at the Offices of Community Development, 1150 Half Day Road in Highland Park. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Burhart, are you presenting this one for us?
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Carl Burhop. I'm a senior planner with the City of Highland Park, the Planning Division and the Community Development Department. So this is a plan development amendment request by the school for the 763 Dean Avenue site, the Ravinia School site. Okay, so there was an approval for this site 2 years ago. I think a little more than 2 years ago, approximately 2023. So that was an approval for additions to the school building and then parking on the site. I think there were also changes to the playground at the time. So now this proposal has to do with parking, okay? So this proposal is about parking. So the applicant is proposing parking along the south property line along Roger Williams Avenue. There are 13 spaces there. That is not correct. There are 13 parking spaces there, so there are 3 spaces, there's 16 total they're proposing. 16 is the total for the site. There are 10 spaces along here, angled parking pointed south towards Roger Williams Avenue, and then 3 spaces here. So this is along the south side of the property. And then the applicant depicts landscaping here. And there's one variation requested. Since these are 10 spaces, there's supposed to be a landscaping island and none are proposed. And these spaces were not approved in 2023. I just want to point that out. This is a change from the 2023 site plan. Okay, the north parking. The north parking is proposed to be expanded by 3 spaces. These spaces are within what was approved in 2023. In fact, in 2023, that parking lot was larger than what they ended up building. And you can see that if you go into the development agreement or the ordinance from 2023, it talks about how parking was going to be between 50 to 60 spaces. And so there's a space proposed here at the northeast corner, and then 2 down here at the southeast corner of this parking lot. And this is along Boldwood Street. Actually, I have another slide with the whole site. Okay, there's new landscaping that's proposed. It's always a little hard to see it on these pages. Of course, these are in the packet that are posted online that anyone can go to and zoom in on, but they are proposing 9 total new shade or ornamental trees, 4 new evergreen trees, and 209 shrubs. And of course, those are depicted on the landscaping plans around the new parking locations. Okay, zoning modifications. So I do want to point out that the applicant and their team did work with city staff from the beginning to modify their plans to actually reduce the impervious that was proposed and to increase the landscaping. So the plans you're seeing now are plans that did go through an iteration to be improved, to be better. As I stated previously, the vehicular use area for the south does not have a parking island, so that is a variation request to the commission. I will point out that the PDC granted 3 of those variations in 2023 for the north parking lot. And this modification does not trigger public benefit. This is not in that section in the Article 5 of the code where it triggers public benefit. And so this is the most recent aerial image we have on the city's GIS, and this shows the site. And so the improvements, so you have the row of 10 parking here along Roger Williams Avenue. Then there's 3 spaces approximately in this area. And then again, this was a parking lot that was approved in 2023. It was actually approved to be slightly larger than this. And so the applicant is proposing a space there and then 2 down here. And so that is the project that is before the commission to make recommendation. I'll point out that the engineering division in our public works department did review this, and they said the project scope does not warrant a new traffic study, and they have no objections to the project. And forestry had their comments resolved. So the plans you see are plans that satisfy the forester. Commission is a recommendation body for this PUD amendment, should consider it and make a recommendation to council. This is a public hearing. And that is my presentation.
All right, does the commission have any questions for staff? Vice Chair Kirch.
The parking spaces along Roger Williams, are they accessible from Roger Williams or only from the turnaround?
By accessible, the vehicles pull into or out of?
Yes.
Right. So the vehicles come along and presumably would pull in here, and then they're angled, so they go like that.
So nobody's going to be backing out onto Roger Williams?
That is correct. That is correct. Sorry, I misunderstood. That is correct. In fact, there is landscaping in between there as well.
Or making a U-turn from Roger Williams into those spaces.
No, correct. I misunderstood that question, but you're right. They are not accessible from Roger Williams, and there's additional curb and city boulevard or parkway in between as well. So only if you have an all-terrain vehicle and you want to get your tires muddy. No, it's not meant to be from Roger Williams.
Okay, but people can enter the east entryway from eastbound and westbound Roger Williams, correct? So you can make a left turn into the parking circle.
I would ask the applicant to confirm that.
Drop off. Not during drop off.
All right, well, we'll have to get that clarified. All right, any more questions or comments from the commission? All right, would the applicant like to come up and speak?
Good evening, Chairman Moore. Good evening, Commission, city staff. As Carl shared, we've been working with city staff very closely, and we're grateful to the city staff. Oh, do I have to swear in?
Yes, we
Okay.
probably should. Do
Okay.
you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. My name is Michael Lubelfeld, Superintendent of Schools, District 112.
Thank you.
Thank you. As I was stating, we've been working with city staff since we reopened the school in August, and we realized that we had more adults than we initially had planned for. We have some special programming at the school. We had additional consultant staff. We also have food service at the school. And in hindsight, we simply should have designed the parking lot as we had it approved in 2023 to make it larger. As we were going forward, we didn't think that we were going to need to. Hindsight is 2020. We did need to. And in an effort to relieve pressure on our own staff, but also pressure on the adjacent neighbors, we would like to simply maximize the utility of our own property in as least intrusive manner possible. We plan to use permeable pavers from another additional environmental prospect, and the only additional interruption on our very patient neighbors will be if this commission approves it, if the city council approves it, and if we can commit construction. It's estimated by our partners to be about a 3-week process where there'd be slight disruption to drop off and pick up for 3 weeks, and then we would be ready to move forward.
All right, does anyone from the commission have a question?
I do.
Commissioner Hernandez?
Hi, Dr. Lubelfeld.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. So I have 2 kids currently at Riven Elementary. They both very much enjoy the fact that they get to ride their bikes to school when the weather permits. One kind of concern I have, because I've walked with them and done it with them, is the 3 spots in the lower right is generally where the children congregate before they're permitted to enter the playground. And so I'm just concerned as a parent, and does it have understanding of just the pre-morning routine? And to me, that seems like there's a conflict between whoever's parking there and then children who are congregating before they're permitted to enter the grounds. I was curious how we could approach that.
Yeah, those 3 spots ideally would be for our food services personnel. And so it wouldn't be a random sort of delivery, and we would coordinate to make sure that if they arrive before students arrive, we have no problem whatsoever. And if they are currently arriving after that, I'll work with our Director of Operations, Jim Bach, who's here with me, and our principal to make sure that we do not encroach on the kids or we open up a different part of the property for that.
Cool.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
No problem.
Is that parking area accessible from the drive that you have there on the south side of the school, or do you access it from the north side of the school, from Baldwin?
Please, Carl, yeah.
The way the site plan is laid out is these 3 spaces are accessed from Roger Williams Avenue.
Yes.
They wouldn't be able to access through here. This is playground and.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, and I didn't know if it was like, we're gonna fill in all these spots by 8 o'clock in the morning and then close off the parking lot or something like that. So I just wanted to understand. So, Commissioner Incheck had a question, comment.
I have a question about the key trees that are located in this front area of the school. And maybe it's more of a comment that because there is a landscape island requirement, I would love to see one of the key trees preserved in a landscape island, if that's like a possibility given the construction, to not like disrupt the root system and everything. So it looks like some of the bigger key trees that are on the site are clustered in this area. So that was one observation I had from looking at the site plan.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Commissioner. We did work very sensitively and very closely with the forester. A tree that I actually mistook for a heritage tree was an invasive tree. So I had wanted to make sure we took care of something, much that we've done with all of our other projects. I was corrected. It was not even supposed to be there. So whatever the forester and his sensitivity and their sensitivity is what we're absolutely taking care of. But I share your sentiment, and You've seen some of our tree protecting efforts where we can.
Thank you.
So these spots here on the south, are those for staff only, or are parents gonna be parking there for pickup and drop off?
It'll probably be staff only.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a restriction, I don't mean it that way. The way that this operates, that's drop off for parents, really kind of passing through. Our staff members are currently parking at the Metro East lot or on our neighbors' streets.
Commissioner Mantis has a question.
So the, package that you submitted says that this is phase 2? It references 3 phases of parking. So first phase was included in the original PUD.
Yes, sir.
52 spaces what was built with a future plan for 11.
Yep.
This is adding 15 instead
Yes.
of 11.
Yeah.
So is there going to be a future request for more parking then? Am I reading that correctly?
No, you're reading it correctly. The spots in the what I'll call the center, we're not planning to, if the commission approves, if the city council approves, we would actually do the south parking phase 2 ASAP, like by Thanksgiving, first week of December. The middle parking lot, if you approve it, if the city council approves it, will be done next spring or next summer when there's almost zero impact on the neighbors and the school.
Got it. So that's just, that's reference to those 3 spots.
Yes, sir.
I guess my concern is just that I remember this taking up a lot of green space, and I'm concerned that we're taking up more green space. So I just want to make sure that this is the totality of the parking requested for Ravinia at this point then.
Yes, and in sensitivity to that comment, Commissioner, as well as working with staff and working with the forester, our original plan, our second original plan, had something that would have impacted what you're talking about, and we've removed that from our planning and consideration.
Okay, thank you. Does the commission have any more questions for the applicant? Down here. Does anybody from the public wish to speak on this matter? All right, please come on up and I'll swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear to tell the truth, yes.
Okay, and I'll ask you to speak your name and spell your last name for us.
My name is Yana Sosonkin. I live next to the school. Spelling of the last name, Sosonkin.
And did you submit,
No.
okay. All right, go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
So noticed that parking for the metro station is very underutilized due to less commuting recently. And I concerned that adding a lot of parking spaces to that drive-through, the circle, where a lot of parents are going and a lot of kids running around would be problematic and also unsightly. I do notice that staff running out of parking space and utilizing streets. Maybe we can designate some part of the metro parking lot for those extra that don't have spaces. And for the spot that gonna be utilized for delivery, if they will be going back, right? Going backwards and then cars entering the circle, dropping kids off or whatever, I feel that it could still be a dangerous situation. Plus it's unsightly, we need more green space for kids where they are congregating. And if somebody is gonna be backing off, well, kids are there. They are constantly, so I feel like it's gonna be dangerous and not pretty from the street.
All right, thank you. Anybody else from the public have a comment? Come on up. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Ryan Sherling, Sherling. I'm a resident of Baldwin Road. I live directly behind the school. First, I want to ask a question. Have we done a survey to understand if the proposed spots will cover the folks that are parking on the street and in the metro lot? Do we know? That would be something I'd like to know about this. But separately with the staff parking on the road, I believe there was an agreement in the short term for 5 cars to be parked there. And last week, just random counting, it's been anywhere from 8 to 12 cars have been parked there. We've struggled with anyone servicing our properties to find parking and work on it. I have concern that as the snow comes, you can't get a snowplow down that street if cars are parked on there. Fire truck, landscaping truck, you name it. It's a fairly narrow road.
So Baldwin is the street you're
Yes,
concerned
on Baldwin
about?
Road. So I want to make sure that those are accounted for as we're doing this, and if additional parking is put in place, that it is going to alleviate those folks who are parking and blocking the residents from using the street. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Would the applicant like to speak to that?
Chairman Moore, would you like me to speak to both comments or either one specifically?
Both comments, please. So the comments about the traffic potentially backing out of those spots, and then the traffic on Baldwin, which I know Baldwin is very tight, and there is a sign there that says you can't park opposite driveways, which leaves not very many parking spaces.
Yes, so we respect our residents' view that it may be unsightly, dangerous, or a cutting out of green space. We respectfully reject that, though, with respect to the fact that we are in the business of operating 8 other schools where we have people and parking, and there's a 10-minute morning, 10-minute afternoon, chaotic, crazy, very busy opportunity. It is not dangerous. It is part of our business, part of what we do. It also is not green space that is used for recreational areas, and we do have some beautiful green space on the property, and we are not anticipating our teachers to be driving recklessly or aimlessly. In addition, the Metro East lot, which is not school district property, is 2/10 of a mile away. It is about a 5-minute clocked walk. Teachers are there. Whether the commuter lot is empty or not is not a concern or matter of responsibility for District 112. We do not want to rely on non-district property for our parking, and if the commuter lot does increase, then obviously our staff can't park there. So that's not a matter that the school district has purview in. With respect to Baldwin Avenue is a public way. It is legally permissible to park on Baldwin as long as our staff do not, or as long as no one blocks the driveways. As a professional and respectful courtesy to our neighbors on Baldwin, we've agreed to restrict the school district 112 parking to no more than 5 vehicles. There is room for more than that. And again, I want to remind the commission and the city council, it is legal to park there. We've agreed not to. So I do not dispute our neighbors' comments. There could be 8, 9, 10 cars there. That does not necessarily mean they're District 112 cars. We have medallions and placards. We've been extremely diligent with our Director of Safety and Security, with our school resource officer, with our principal, with our staff, myself, our union president, everybody reminding people no more than 5. We understand that it is problematic for our neighbors. And again, as a professional courtesy, out of neighborly concern, we want to build spots on our own property so that we don't have to. I will not guarantee to this commission, the city council, the neighbors, that we'll never park anywhere. We're also good neighbors with the Ravinia Neighbors Association, your food trucks and all of that take our spots at the school. So we're all going to work together. We're going to do the best we can. This request allows us to maximize our own property and clean up our own sort of needs while still honoring and respecting our neighbors and doing the best we can, acknowledging the legality of things that we're not doing and voluntary decisions that we are making to make sure that we can be productive members of this community.
Thank you. Real quick, can you remind me where the buses pick up at Ravinia? Is it in the back or
On
is
Dean Avenue.
it's on Dean Avenue? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Drop off is in the loop and the pickup is on gate.
Oh, okay, thanks. Okay, any more questions from the commission? Any more questions from the public? Come on up. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'll need your name and spell your last name.
My name is Dennis Smith Henry. Last name is Smithenry. I live on Roger Williams Avenue. I appreciate what you commented about the patience of the neighbors during all the construction during the last 2 years. I just had a few questions. Maybe one had to do with, you had mentioned, Daniel Mantis about the phase 3. When I read through all the materials, it did look like there was a phase 3. So I just want to make sure, and it was additional parking beyond phase 2, which I think we're all referring to here. Another point is, you said back in, and I did submit an appearance form, FYI.
Okay, yes, we saw that.
And so the other thing is, you said 2020 is hindsight, I totally get that. But what I don't understand is why the parking lot on the north side, those 3 spots weren't done when the original construction occurred, because it seems like a inefficient use of funds to do that, to have to redo it when it was approved already. I did have a question about, I don't know if we can put up that view of the parking.
The south or
the
middle?
south circle.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Just this had to do with a question, about Chairman's question about whether you can turn left or right into the circle. I'm also, I just have a question about is it possible to even turn left into the west side? Is that, are there one-way signs? I don't know what it is. It's one-way, okay. And I also share concern with our neighbor over here. Sorry, no, I share concerns also. Just, I understand, I was actually a former teacher myself, but there is a lot of activity with children in front of the school, and particularly in that zone here between those 3 spots and the proposed 3 spots and proposed 10 spots. That there's a lot of activity there in the morning. So it does just seem like you have people driving in, you have parents driving in to drop off. So it just seems like an odd coordination of parking for staff, parking for, or people dropping off children, and then children trying to get to the playground. So it's just a concern that I'm thinking about as I listen to all of the comments. I think that the only other thing is that all the neighbors around received this letter that we had to sign from the mail, and it wasn't correct. So I'm just as curious if someone could comment on that, because I got really confused because it said it would add like 8 additional classrooms, changes to lighting, courtyard.
So I think that was the original plan when this came through 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'll have Mr. Burhup speak on that.
If I could I please respond to that,
Yes, you
Chair?
could please respond.
So,
No, thank you.
yeah, so for the notice, I apologize for any of the confusion. Staff reused the notices from 2 years ago and updated it, and we updated it, everything correctly, new date, new time, the new project, except the one issue is the prior project, there was like 2 or 3 sentences in the middle of that neighborhood letter, and those should have been deleted, and I just apologize for that confusion. That's what happened. We reused the notice from 2 years ago, and everything in there was updated correctly, except for that should have been struck. So straight up, I apologize. And for those of you that called us and spoke to us, I'm always pick up the phone and talk to us. We're happy to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So I felt that we kind of covered the reason that the 3 spaces on the north side weren't added was because we were trying to maximize the green space at the time. Is that correct, Dr. Lubefeld?
Chair Moore, no, we made a mistake by not adding those at the time.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
okay, it happens.
Yeah.
All right, and then that does, as we discussed, that does, finish the request for additional parking for this property. Okay, there's no like phase 3.
No, we were going to ask permission to build on the north triangle. It's a special space, a special site. It's an exceedingly difficult site. We've withdrawn that decision, discussion, and plan in cooperation and coordination with the city staff, especially the forester.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you would like to come up again, you can come up again.
A question was the.
Okay, you'll still need to come up and speak into the microphone.
Please identify yourself and then, sorry.
Nancy Sonkin. I just wanna, ask if the parking instead of the circle, on Dean Avenue would be considered, instead of parallel parking, there could, cut into that space where not much greenery and to have parking on Dean Avenue? Just a question.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to put up the map again? All right, so because Dean Avenue is that street there, and there are parallel parking spaces there.
Oh, on the street, right?
Yes, there's parallel, and I think she's asking is can we turn some of those into angle parking spaces by cutting into the parkway? And I'm not sure that we can do that due to our city code requirements for, that would be the, I'm sorry, it's not the easement, what is it? It's the,
Setback.
setback, thank you.
I think that you run into the same problem if you have to give up that green space then at the,
I think her point.
at the
was
southwest
very nice
corner.
green- It was a very nice green space to begin with, but,
Well, I mean, we had this,
Space anyway.
yeah,
I mean, I think as Commissioner Mantis pointed out, we had a lot of these concerns 2 years ago about the parking. And I mean, it is a very difficult site. We preserved what we could. I think we've been accommodating, but I don't know how you kind of get around the needs that have developed here.
right, well. And then I think if you're trying to park in the parkway of Dean Avenue, those aren't necessarily Ravinia school spaces, those are perhaps city spaces. So, and I think since we have approved the original plan, you know, I think we need to let that lie. We can't reinvent the original plan. So I think we have to go ahead with what's in front of us, which is adding the 10 spaces on Roger Williams and then the extra 6 spaces in the 2 locations in the back parking lot.
Chair.
Yeah, Commissioner Henry.
Dr. Lubefeld, would you come back up to the podium? I've got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
In looking at this schematic, I'm not troubled by the spaces on the south or adding the stuff that we should have done the first time around. I get how that works. But the 3 spaces, to the point of some of the comments, the 3 spaces seem to be located near play areas, basketball courts, and all this kind of stuff. Would it have been possible, or is it possible, did you explore the possibility of putting those on, rather than on the Baldwin Roger Williams side, on the Dean side, so that they're separate from those areas where students congregate?
Commissioner Henry, thank you very much. We have exhausted every option, and to avoid any utilities or to avoid any other issues that we have on that property. These three are actually three that was down from about 7 in terms of other iterations and configurations. And the way that we have some of our considerations there and the way that we have been operating, we're not concerned about we do not believe there are any safety concerns.
Okay, because it just, as I look at it, I'm looking at basketball courts, just south, and a whole area, and when I look to the Dean side, which is where we have a new addition, amazingly so. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if those 3 spaces could be, or let me ask you this, if it was considered, why did we believe, does the district believe that these 3 spaces are best situated where you propose, as opposed to on the Dean side where it doesn't seem to be any area of student congregation or anything like that?
We have student congregation on both sides. It's a very busy site, a very busy space. This would be adjacent to the parking lot that's already there, functioning very well, thank goodness. And it's the minimum amount of spaces that we feel comfortable adding at this point.
Will those spaces be signposted, like food service only, employees only, or something like that?
The ones that are, those 3 that are immediately close to the south, the answer is yes.
Yes, okay, because we don't want to have parents pulling in there.
They won't. Parents, the main entrance to the school on Dean Avenue is where parents or visitors come in, or they'll come in their set, but point is made, point is taken, it would be for employees only.
Okay. Commissioner Incheck.
Just following up on that, I'm curious if there's a way to like physically separate the parking vehicular traffic area, and I don't know this particular site super well, but like bollards or fencing or any other kind of like visual separation that would flag to kids like, hey, this area is dangerous, don't go to this part of the site.
Yes. There's already bollards there, there's already a gate there, there's already a fence there, so 100% yes.
Could we look to opening up the playground earlier than the current hours to not have the children congregate there?
I'd be completely open to that. I have not, I can certainly tell the school staff, that's a great idea.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, they're on the bike.
Any more comments from the commission?
I have a question.
A question from Councilmember Ross.
Thank you, Chair. It is my understanding that in general, District 112 has been adding more staff or felt the need to add more staff and not just at Ravinia, but at other schools as well, which for the worthy goal of, having all the educational offerings across the district being equitable. And so my question is what's to say that you won't need more staff at the Ravinia Elementary? And would you expect that the staff to be parking at Metro Station ultimately?
Do not have a crystal ball. I do not believe right now we have the capacity. We do not have the need for additional staff today. I don't believe we have that much more capacity for additional staff. We have room for students, but so we're working on that internally. And we're grateful to the city for permitting us to send our staff to the Metro East lot at Ravinia. It is certainly not a school district lot, so we're grateful for that. We're doing everything in our power to make sure that our planning is commensurate with our ability to create these spaces.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we had one last comment from a member of the public. Okay, never mind. All right, so I think we have findings of fact. Is this correct?
That's correct.
All right. Do we have any conditions on the findings of fact?
No, though any conditions from the original approval would carry over. This doesn't strike anything that was already approved. It just makes the amendments as specifically requested.
So then we would need a motion to adopt the findings of fact.
If I may.
Yes, you may.
I would move we adopt the findings of fact recommending approval of an amendment to a special use permit in the nature of a plan development design review and modifications from city code at 763 Dean Avenue, known as Ravinia School.
All right, do we have a
Second.
second? And we have a second by Commissioner Henry. Any more discussion amongst the commission on this? Okay, please call the roll.
Commissioner Incheck.
Aye.
Commissioner Fettner.
Aye.
Commissioner Nanis.
Aye.
Commissioner Henry.
Aye.
Commissioner Mantis.
Aye.
Vice Chair Kirsch.
Aye.
Chair Moore.
Aye,
The ayes have it, motion carries, and this item has been recommended for approval. Thank you, Madam Chair.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, shorter meeting, perhaps. Do we have an administrative design review update from staff?
Yes, the update is that there are none to update you on.
Okay. The next regular meeting is scheduled for November 18th, 2025, which would be here, regular meeting at City Hall. If there's anything on the agenda, we will have that meeting, correct?
Yes, I believe that meeting will likely be canceled, and I will confirm that.
Okay.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Thankful
There you go,
Thanksgiving.
exactly.
All right, so the case briefing.
As Madam Chair, on October 30th, at its special meeting, the City Council considered and approved a preliminary approval for the 1700 Old Deerfield Road site, former Solo Cup site. So what's going to happen next is the applicant is directed to prepare final documents as part of that. That include a host of conditions and other stipulations to be included in the approval documents, not just only the final documents, but also the development agreement and the ordinances that would be required as part of that. So this item will be coming back to the Plan and Design Commission in its final form, and then back on to the City Council. At that time, we're doing a substantial compliance with the preliminary approval check, and then would go to City Council for final action. In addition, there will be, as part of that consideration, it's a separate but related consideration for a conditional use for a freestanding parking lot related to that development. The parking lot that it consists of 42 spaces, 28 of which had to do with an easement, and 14 of which is part of a public benefit. And so, not for discussion this evening, but those things will all be coming back to you in their final form.
Okay.
Okay?
Sometime in the future. I can't wait.
We'll provide updates when we have, an estimated time of arrival. Right now, we have some internal tentative ideas on that, and obviously the applicant is interested in moving this forward quickly. By our local law, they have to supply final plans within 6 months. But they plan to do that more quickly
I'm
than
sure,
that.
yeah.
Right, so depending on when we get those, which we're expecting them this month, but in what condition they're in and, how well they're done, we can be back before you sooner rather than later, but not before the November 18th meeting. So,
Can we get another dinner out of it?
maybe, whatever you bring.
Is there any other case briefing?
No.
Is there any business from the public? So
I have business from the public,
okay.
so to speak. It's about your behaviors. I wanted to, wanted to update you all. I did promise Commissioner Henry that I would, update you all on pending legislation, before the, General Assembly down in Springfield. Now, if you are subscribed to the Elrod Friedman client alert, you are already on board, you know all about this. So Senate Bill 111 is it just passed both houses October 31st. It is a bill that, among many other things, eliminates the ability of municipalities, home rule or otherwise, to require minimum parking requirements. Now, that is a home rule preemption, meaning that even if home rule municipalities such as Highland Park wished to impose minimum parking requirements, it could not do so. Those parking requirements, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, the reductions or the elimination of that requirement is applicable to new developments or the amendment of existing developments that are located, I think it is a half mile toward a parking or a
Public transit.
public transit corridor. Yeah, there's two.
There's two of them. Right?
Yeah, in any event, you can read our client alert to find out specifically which ones are which. Both of those terms, public transit corridor and public transit station are defined in the bill. It has not been signed by the governor. I don't see I've not heard anything as to why it won't be. If signed, goes into effect January 1st, 2026.
Is that for any development, Marcus?
New developments and amendments to
No, but I
existing.
mean, commercial, residential, this doesn't matter?
I believe so.
Yes.
So that would be applicable, like hypothetically, on like Second Street, you could put another story on one of those first one-story buildings, like above Michael's in theory,
Well,
like a second without needing additional parking.
Correct, correct. There may be other.
There's
zoning-
requirements,
Right,
right,
but
right.
that one won't be.
Right.
So yes, it's only related to parking, and the client alert was excellent. Thank you, Marcus, for that.
Wasn't
Your
mine.
firm, I understand, it was Weiss, right? Having said that,
Major transportation.
so staff is doing the following in response to the update. We have no reason to expect the governor won't sign, so we've already assigned this as a task for staff to do, is to develop a memo on the impact of this new legislation. There is state preemption, so our local code will not apply. We are looking at then an amendment to our local code, but even unamended, this still applies. So you stand down on the things that are in conflict with state or federal law, as we always do. But eventually we will come back with an amendment next year to clean this up once we better understand it and figure out a way to amend the code properly so that in the areas it doesn't apply, it won't apply. We are a bit ahead on this. You all sat on matters and made recommendations related to the repark rule. That did really change parking requirements for reuse of spaces in our community. This goes beyond that, though, to really affect new development and additions to development out there. It does not, according to the client briefing from Elrod Freeman, undo what's already been approved, okay? It's only the next, when things change in an amendment or a new project is proposed. And so it's a half a mile from like a train station, and then there's a bus metric that you need to be able to meet to have that be a locus point from which you would also relieve parking. So we're not sure if we meet the bus one, but we're going to check. We obviously have PACE buses, and we're going to be working with our colleagues in Public Works to understand the schedule, because it's a 15-minute service schedule at a particular location from, I believe, maybe 2 lines at least. So we'll do the analysis. We'll be back and brief the city manager, city council, and the Plan and Design Commission, of course, about the implications. As Marcus had indicated, it becomes effective January 1st. So we will be doing this during the holiday season, taking a look at this.
So I guess my question, so if somebody came in with a new project on the 18th, which they're not going to, that was gonna have to deal with the minimum parking requirements, they can't say, oh, well, that's gonna be signed and we don't have to deal with that.
It actually has to be signed to become effective law,
Right, so
and
they
the law is effective January 1st, 2026. And so I would say, and I defer to corporate counsel, if an item has not been approved yet, it is not an already existing approval. So if the approval takes us past that time, then then that becomes effective.
Right.
And I defer to corp counsel on that.
Modify
You
that.
don't just, if you just apply now, but it doesn't actually get approved until 26, and that law does come into effect, then it would be in effect.
Right.
It's not yet approved.
Right, and it's really, I mean, it affects our law. It affects it doesn't really affect the application. If the application is for so many residential units and so many parking spaces, that is what it is. If they're not allowed to have that by virtue of our law, then there is, I mean, it really does come down to when was the application filed? When was the final approval? My thinking is that upon submitting your application is as to the law as it stands that day.
Correct. Yeah, I agree. Okay, is there any other new business that we should be aware of? There's no business from the public, because there is no public. All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, can I get a second? Okay, all in favor? Aye. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for dinner tonight.
Thanks for dinner.
Thank you.